We either choose to build a country that can stand on a strong foundation, or we be selective, we take our political sides and we pretend which side is good for us when we say what. The situation in which this country is, and you see it in the MOU, we said the young people, the BAL need jobs. It is captured there. I don't know whether you see it. Mm-hmm. I was in the spring meeting of the World Bank and IMF, and it's projected, you can Google the BAL, that by 2035, we will be having a youth bulge of jobless young people, well-skilled, of 1.2 billion. How do you create jobs? Government does not employ. Currently, barely 1 million people are civil servants within government. Mm-hmm. Government creates an environment in which investors can invest and create jobs. Mm-hmm. Let me ask my colleagues, who will invest in Nairobi, where people wake up any day and they say they are going to demonstrate? And so that leads me to say, Dibal, two things. It is unfortunate if Kenyans lost lives. But we must also be alive to the fact that these fundamental rights, including the right under Article 37, the right to assemble, the right to demonstrate, the right to picket, the right to petition relevant authorities for rights, is structured that way. And except the rights under Article 25, all those rights, including this, can be limited.
Thank you.
Let me say this as I end. You cannot sit and as leaders, knowing the law, my brother Okong, which we studied, and tell people there is no situation where the police will not shoot. Read Part B of the 6th schedule. There are circumstances where a police officer will shoot. You saw on the streets a lady police officer nearly being killed, and his colleagues are running away. Let me tell you, under that law, if those people were shot, it is not extrajudicial. So let us not have a situation where, like the last time you see a bishop praying for our young people to go to State House, God protect them, they go and come back alive. How are we guiding our young people? Let us tell our young people that the nation called Kenya needs to be stable. We are dealing with an economy, Dibal, where this year KRA has raised 2.5 trillion, all going to paying interest on debts, largely which were taken by President Uhuru Kenyatta, and recurrent. And Ruto still has to develop the country.
All right.
Why don't we listen as a people and see the solutions? And when the party calls for dialogue, we make it simplistic.
But let me ask you, when you're talking about transparency, and I want just to focus on the police, because we've had also reports today that, you know, the DIG is back in office.
Yes.
Apparently he went on leave. And we saw, just a moment, yes. we saw very clearly a letter there, you know, from the office, from the National Police Service itself, appended the signature there by, you know, the IG himself, that he was stepping aside for investigation to be carried on. So when you're talking about transparency and accountability in this current regime, what would you say about this doublespeak? That he now is on leave?
It's not doublespeak, Dibal. My position, and let me end by saying so. If any police officer uses the firearm or ammunition paid for by the taxpayers for their protection in circumstances not permitted by the law, that police officer must be held culpable, must be arrested, must be prosecuted, must be jailed, and where a person died, Dibal, in consequence of the action of such police officer, I would say not even life imprisonment would suffice. That police officer has to die, has to also be executed.
Thank you.
But I'm saying we cannot run this country the way Jesus was tried. If there is evidence that DIG Lagat did anything beyond, in my view, lodging the complaint he lodged, and I'm saying this because I'm in security committee, you know what I mean? So I have information all of us may not be having in the National Assembly. And you remember my attitude when the matter was being dealt with. I said, prosecute people. If DIG Lagat did anything beyond complaining, then let me tell you, I will be the last person to let him go. Just as I also say, if DIG Lagat did nothing beyond complaining, then it is unfair to say he cannot resume office if investigations don't link to him.
Thank you.
So mine is to question, is the investigation complete, or there is some evidence upon which we can therefore, proceed to arrest him and prosecute him? And remember, criminal cases never end.